Namaste children. In the continuation of our lesson, Nazism and the rise of Hitler, we would have seen about the First World War, then finally how Weimar Republic signed the Treaty of Versailles, and then why it became unpopular, worldwide crisis, what impact it gave on Germany, and the economic crisis in Germany that led to the Hitler's rise to power. Okay, now let us see how Hitler rise to power. Actually, we should know about Hitler first. Hitler was born in Austria in 1889. He earned many medals for bravery in the First World War. The German defeat horrified him. The Treaty of Versailles made him furious. He joined German Workers' Party and renamed it National Socialist German Workers' Party. This later came to be known as Nazi Party. Nazism became a mass movement only during the Great Depression. அதாவது 2.7% ஓட்டு தான் இருந்தது. பட் ஆஃப்டர்வர்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப்டர் திஸ் கிரேட் டிப்ரெஷன் they got more than 30% of votes. That much they became so popular. How? The Nazi propaganda stirred hopes of a better future. Hitler was a powerful and effective speaker. He promised the people a strong nation where all would get employment. His politics included significant rituals and spectacle in mass mobilization. Symbol of swastika, procession, mass mobilization, his speech. He understood the significance of rituals and spectacle in mass mobilization. So he used swastika symbol, red banners, pamphlets, ritualized rounds of applause to great effect during his massive rallies. Nazi propaganda skillfully projected Hitler as Messiah, a savior. On Jan 30th, 1933, Hitler was offered the chancellorship by President Hindenburg. Hitler achieved the highest position in Cabinet of Ministries on 30th January 1933. Now, he set out to dismantle the structures of democratic rule. The Fire Decree of 28 February 1933 suspended civic rights like freedom of speech, freedom of press and assembly, which was guaranteed by Weimar Constitution earlier. Communists were hurriedly packed off to newly established concentration camps. Concentration camps na an area where all the undesirable people were killed. All political parties were banned. Special surveillance and security forces were created to control the people and rule with impunity. The famous Enabling Act was passed on March 3rd, 1933, and this act gave all powers to Hitler and established dictatorship in Germany. These were the police forces. The regular police in green uniform and SA or stormtroopers were the existing police forces. Additionally, பார்த்தீங்கன்னா Gestapo, Secret State Police, SS, Protection Squad, Criminal Police and Security Service. So, they were set up, they were raised in order to bring the control of people under Hitler. Then after destruction of democracy, he took over the step in reconstruction. The task of reconstruction was vested in the hands of economist Hjalmar Sachset. He was given the responsibility of economic recovery. He initiated a state-funded work creation program to ensure full production and full employment. Hjalmar Sachset. The famous Autobahn and Volkswagen were the results of his period. Sachset aimed at full production and full employment through a state-funded work creation program. And then Hitler pulled out of League of Nations in 1933. So this was his foreign policy. He reoccupied the Rhineland in 1936. He integrated Austria and Germany in 1938 under the slogan One People, One Empire, One Leader. Then he took Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia. Hitler had unspoken support of England. He chose war as a way out of economic crisis. So in order to come out of economic crisis, he had chosen war. Resources were to be accumulated through expansion of territory. In September 1940, Germany invaded Poland. This started a war with France and England. USA resisted involvement in the war. But when Japan extended its support to Hitler and bombarded Pearl Harbor, the USA entered the war. Finally, the war ended in 1945 with Hitler's defeat and US bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Thus, Hitler's power came to an end. This was the expansion policy of Nazi power in 1943. Now let us see the Nazis' world view. According to Nazi ideology, there was no equality between people, but only racial hierarchy. The Nazis began creating an exclusive racial community of pure Germans by physically eliminating those who were considerable undesirables. They wanted a society of pure and healthy Nordic Aryans, Jews, Gypsies, Blacks, Russians, Poles, even certain Germans and abnormal were considered undesirable. Certain Germans in the sense physically handicapped. The other aspect of Hitler's ideology related to the geopolitical concept of Lebensraum. Jews were worst sufferers in the Nazi Germany. Hitler believed in pseudo-scientific theories of race, which said that conversion was no solution to Jewish problem. It had to be solved through their total elimination. They have to be eliminated from the society. So, from 1933 and 1938, Nazis terrorized, pauperized and segregated Jews, compelling them to leave the country. The next phase, that is 1939 to 1945, aimed at concentrating them in certain areas and then killing them in gas chambers in Poland. Genocide and war became two sides of same coin. ஒரு பக்கம் war, ஒரு பக்கம் killing of Jews, undesirables in mass scales. Poles were forced to leave their homes and properties behind to be occupied by ethnic Germans brought in them from occupied Europe. Hitler felt that a strong Nazi society could be established by teaching Nazi ideology to children. All schools were given German teachers. Children were divided into two groups, desirable and undesirable. Textbooks were rewritten. Functions of sports in schools was to nurture the spirit of violence and aggression. 10 years olds had to enter Jungvolk. At 14, all boys joined Hitler Youth. They joined labor service at 18, where they were given arms and practiced how to fight in the warfield. The boys were taught to be aggressive, masculine, and steel-hearted. Women were told to be good mothers and rear pure-blooded Aryan children. They were encouraged to produce many children. They were given special treatment in hospitals and also got concessions in shops, theatres, and railways. Honor crosses were awarded to encourage women to produce more children. A bronze cross was given for 4 children, silver cross for 6, and golden cross for 8 or more. They had to be the bearers of Aryan culture and race. Now let us see the art of propaganda. How Nazi used language and media in order to create hatred against Jews. The Nazi regime used language and media with care and often to create a great effect. They used films, pictures, radio, posters, etc. to spread hatred for Jews. Nazism worked on minds of people tapped their emotions, and turned their hatred and anger at those marked as undesirable. People saw the world through Nazi eyes and spoke Nazi language. At times, even Jews began to believe in Nazi stereotypes about them. It was only after the war ended that people came to know about what had happened. The Jews wanted the world to know about atrocities and sufferings they had endured during Nazi killings operations. They just wanted to live, even if it was for a few hours, to tell the world about the Holocaust. Thank you, children.